Good afternoon, anti-novelists, curious onlookers, Lilligans, and friends. Welcome back to the library. It is another rainy day on the cattle ranch in Missouri, so I'm hiding in my library with you guys. As I'm sitting here working on the book, something came up in my writing, and I wanted to draw it to your attention. So, here's the card I created, but first, let's go over to my Scrivener where I'm doing a little bit of drafting and let me show you what came up. So I'm working over here, okay? So I'm working in Chapter 8, The Fundamentals of Fiction, in Section B, The Nature of Fiction. And through the course of the writing, it's just my style to kind of talk to you as I go through the writing process. So in this section, I make the comment, no, it's here. Maybe you're drawn to, it's supposed to be to, maybe you're drawn to the form of epistolary writing, which uses shared letters or a diary to tell a tale, like A.S. Byatt did in Possession. Parentheses. We'll cover this way more in the chapter that discusses writing from experience and its pitfalls. So, see what I've done there? I've made an intertextual reference. Even though I'm writing in Chapter 8b, I've made a reference to the chapter on writing from experience. So how do I cross-reference and track those little notes to myself within the text? That's what we're looking at today. So let's go over here. First thing I did is I oriented myself on my card to where, over here, to where the reference is. It's in Chapter 8, subsection B. And I made a note, writing from experience and its pitfalls. Now, in the upper right-hand corner, I've made a note to myself about where this belongs. It belongs in Chapter 9 on the writing process. So then, if I go back over to my master outline and I look at Chapter 9, ignore where it says Chapter 10 next to it because I've moved that chapter down. So it's actually Chapter 9, and you'll see that I have a section there on story units. And let's just see what else is in that chapter since I so successfully finally got these chapters to behave today, and I got them in the order that I need them. So we've got scenes and sequels using the experience collector. See what I've got there? That little B section that's not labeled B yet. Experience collector. So if you recall yesterday and the day before, I was walking you through this idea of collecting your experiences as you go through your day and using those as kind of thoughtful placeholders over in your Zettelkasten so that you can come back to them and write about those things. But what I'm reminding myself here is, in the writing process, there are often problems and challenges when you write from experience. True life example. When I was teaching at university, one of the things that would often come up among new writers is they were writing too literally from their experience. So let me give you an example here. This is an exercise that I'm going to include in the book Zettelkasten for Fiction. And it says, sit quietly and record your environment. Then abstract that out to a story element. How many scenes can you or it generate? So just by making an observation, let's say making an observation of multiple colored pens sitting on a desk with a blank note card. Okay, what can I do with that detail? How can I employ that information in a story? What does that detail tell me about maybe the character that I'm writing about, or what that character is doing, or who they are? Okay, so see how you start to play the what if game with yourself? Well, the way that you get in trouble, and I'm just going to give you a little sneak peek because I do have this section already drafted over here in this chapter. The way you get in trouble is when you write out the episode, you write out the details, and then you abstract out and you figure out how to apply that to your story, and then you get in the weeds. Because instead of further applying that to the story and fictionalizing it, your defense of that scene or that bit of writing is this. But that's what really happened. Nobody cares what really happened. Okay, rewind 15 seconds and listen to that again. I'm pointing at you. And here's the reason why. Good fiction does not have to adhere to the facts. If it did, we would call it documentary or something else. Good fiction is not documentary. Yes, if it's crafted well, it draws from the details of reality. It draws from our shared and common experience. However, it packs that shared experience, those actual factual details, into the story in such a way that it becomes seamless and the reader doesn't know, did this really happen or not? All I know as a reader is it rings true. That, my friends, is writer gold. If the situation, the experience, whatever you've captured rings true and serves the story and the character, then you've done your job successfully. It doesn't matter if it really happened that way. So, hereby, right now, I give you permission to be a bender, twister, and reteller of every experience you have and every fact that you record when you are going throughout your day collecting those experiences. Don't get sucked into the trap that, but it really happened that way. That's how it was. Nobody cares. Fictionalize it, tune it finely with your craft, and that is when you are winning the day as a great writer. So, that is my tip for today. I will continue chugging on through. Parts 1, 2, and 3 of the book are locked in. I'm so happy with those in draft. Parts 4 and 5 are now completely outlined and lined out. I had a brutal fist fight with the gremlins in the basement, which are the critics and the troublemakers in my head that keep me from getting writing done. But I beat them back using my superpowers of the mad woman in the attic, who is the kind, generous, and loving voice that tells me I'm following my calling and yes, I can get this done. So once again, the mad woman in the attic wins over the gremlins. So I will keep on writing. I'm probably going to do a couple more sprints today, and then I will take a break because I think we're going to watch the football game and eat the chili that is happily brewing in my kitchen. The house smells so good. This is when ranch life is the best, when it's a cool rainy day and you've got a pot of chili going. So I will leave you with that as I send you to look back out the window. I might spend a little time over there in my reading chair and treat myself to reading a chapter of my favorite book that I'm totally immersed in right now. And I will see you all tomorrow. As always, thank every single one of you for subscribing and coming with me on this journey. I sincerely value every one of you and your support. So I will see you tomorrow.